Yeah.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, may I please request everybody to please take your seats. If you have your colleagues and friends still outside, it would be the good time to call them here now. So, a good morning to you all. A good morning to you all. Yeah, that's like it. My name is Tarusha Saxena, and on behalf of the entire team of HYSEA, I welcome all of you to the 32nd HYSEA National Summit Awards 2025. Huge round of applause. That's a big milestone. And we will be celebrating today AI and beyond, redefining future. This event is in association with ITE&C Department, Government of Telangana and STPI, Hyderabad. To kickstart today's day, I would now like to invite President HYSEA, Mr. Prashant Nandela, to give us some inspiration and his welcome note. Prashant. We'll do it later.
Thank you. Good morning, all. Good morning. Thankfully, some of you all came in early this morning from a very far distance. Thank you, Daaji, for being here. We had a great reception last evening. I think a lot of us spent some good time. I was not hopeful I'll be here at 7:30, 8 o'clock, but I managed to be here. But it's great to see this room power-packed with everybody here who's making a difference to the Hyderabad ecosystem and making a difference to our industry. So it's a fantastic opportunity to engage with all of you all. Good morning, all distinguished guests, industry leaders, academia, government officials, partners, and friends. Welcome all to this 32nd HYSEA National Summit and Awards function that we have today. It's an honor and privilege to call you all for this. The gathering is not just about celebrating Hyderabad's thriving IT industry, but also it's a reflection of a collective journey that all of us have earmarked. Over the last 33 years, we've had many organizations coming together with a singular purpose. How do we make Hyderabad the destination of IT industry, innovation and change and transformation? So I think we're here to celebrate that success and hoping that all of us will continue this journey in this fast evolving world, and how do you sort of keep up the pace and be front of the technology revolution. With that in mind, this year's theme that we've set for ourselves is AI and beyond, redefining the future. As we all know, the technology changes have been 15, 20 years before, 10 years, 5 years. Now every year something changes, right? So we'll have to think about how to adapt to this change and make sure that we have the necessary ingredients of learning, unlearning cycles, and how do you sort of learn ourselves, keep ourselves abreast, adapt to change, and make sure that we are driving a big difference to the society as we go along. So I think a couple of things that we wanted to cover today. We've did this session into 3 parts. So part A is about getting an industry outside in perspective about globally what's happening in our industry from a technology transformation. We have an opening keynote that's going to cover that in a while from an analyst who's covering multiple technologies like this globally. But also, I think we wanted to spend a little bit of time to cover the next level of it, right? We heard about agentic AI. What does it mean? Quantum compute. How does it change our world? So we're going to dive a little bit into what this means for us from a technology standpoint. We'll quickly move from that to talk about how these have been applied already in our industry, right? Because a lot of change is happening and we're applying a bunch of that in our industry. We'll have a bunch of corporate leaders talk about practical examples of how they've used to innovate their companies, make a difference, and drive better experiences. We are not, while most of us are from corporate, we have government, we have academia, every other institution here, but a lot is happening in changing the way we are skilling our talent. Lots happening in the way that we are delivering citizen service in a very differentiated manner to our citizens globally, right? So how do we sort of embed that? And we have a session where we're going to have a little bit of insight into, what is it changing from an education system, citizen services? What does it mean to us in terms of providing better experiences and easier conveniences to our one and all, not just the people here, but across the system. So again, I think the business models are getting revamped, changed dramatically. And we all need to know how this change has to be managed. What do we need to manage this change? And how can we drive better experiences? So that's what the whole day is going to be covering about. So I wanted to talk 2 things just about Hyderabad, right? I think some stats that I'll cover in the evening, but we've been the fastest growing GCC hub in the last 18 months here. So a lot of new companies coming here for a lot of good things: talent, clearly, infrastructure, policy, uh, ability to ease of doing business. All of this stand out. So we're seeing a lot of good stuff that's happening. At the same time, I think we are innovating from the front. We have multiple institutions and academia and government bodies who have created incubation centers and supporting startups and mentoring startups so that we can create a thriving environment of not just servicing companies, but also creating companies that we can deliver services globally. So that's our intent, to sort of shift the landscape to be more futuristic. So with that background in mind, we are working with multiple industry associations, and we have a 5-point agenda that we are sort of working with. So first one is skilling for future. Everybody knows that we need to skill for future. It has two parts to it. At, at an employability standpoint, when people are graduating, how do you sort of make them more job ready? That's one. I think we see a proliferation of academic institutions that have come out in the last 10, 15 years. So clearly, one of the gap we found is how do we sort of engage to make sure that we are doing a faculty immersion program so they're abreast of the technology changes, so they're able to appreciate what is required to create an employable job profile eventually, right? So we're adapting it from two lenses. We call it Project Nipuna and Project Drona. That's what we're trying to do from a business standpoint. The second piece is clearly the startup and innovation ecosystem that I spoke about. We're running two programs. One is called Project Vriddhi, which is essentially figuring out how we can create funding, mentorship for startups, and Catalyst, where we are bringing in external business problems that a lot of services companies, GCCs all face today, and giving the access to startups so they can solve for business problems. So, people strive for solving problems. Those are the two programs that we have launched and managing. I think sustainability and ESG is very, very important. What we're trying to create, we have to circular economy, we have to give back to the society to a large extent. So we're running a multiple programs in terms of ESG, environment readiness, sustainability index. We're trying to launch a sustainability index for the state, right? So we're working with a bunch of organizations to see what the sustainability index has to be, how do we measure, how do we track, and how we're giving back has to be measured back to society. That's a big stuff that we're trying to do. We've actively worked with the government on the green mobility, the open power access policy. So hopefully those will see traction very, very soon from a business standpoint. Last but not the least, I think we need to have a democratized growth across the state, across the nation. And I know we were talking with some of you all earlier in my interactions. So we are trying to take as much as interventions that we're doing in corporate social responsibility to rural India, to rural Telangana, so that we are able to create a level playing field for people to compete, work, and create ecosystem changes more secular, widespread, and not just in main cities. So that's a big initiative that HYSEA is working with corporate companies. We launched a village adoption program. Over 30 odd villages in remote Telangana have been adopted. We hope to do a lot more of this in collaboration with all of you here. That's a big, big element that we're trying to do. And we also have a flagship program on digital disruption initiative, where we want to take digital and cognitive education. I know this is very close to Daaji ji in terms of what we spoke earlier, but take this to schools. How do you sort of create infrastructure, systems, and procedures in schools so that we can actually make a difference? Some of our, this is not something that we're doing now. It's been launched a while back, and I have fortunate to have a bunch of past presidents from HYSEA here who've championed this, designed this, and taking it to closure. We're just continuing on that path, and our vision this year is to take that from 90 schools to 600 schools, so that we're able to at least do 10% of government schools in Telangana, and hopefully scale from there. So that's an initiative that we've launched. Last but not the least, I think we work very closely with government, with the across multiple departments. I think we have to be 5 years on infrastructure ahead of time so that we can manage this growth, whether it be uh, train connectivity, road connectivity, quality of roads, new roads, solving real-time problems in terms of how we assess things, more strategic information around how do you plan our traffic commute that much more easier. So we worked with WhatsApp for Business, with the government of Telangana and the Cyberabad Police Commissioner to create traffic pulses so that at least we know when there is an issue and how do we can solve issue, rather than if you can't solve, let's manage the traffic situation in a better manner. So a lot of stuff happening there, and hopefully all of this will lead to a more resilient, strong, innovative, creative Hyderabad, and we all want to create this with support of all of you all. Again, before I end this, thank you all for being here. This summit is a great opportunity to reimagine the future for us. We have great speakers, great lineups. I think there's a lot to learn from each other. And hopefully we will continue to contribute on our individual and corporate capacities to this change and transformation. Again, thank you all. Enjoy this event and look forward to all of your participation. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Prashant, for the inspiring words and really kickstarting the event today. And now we move to the lamp lighting. And Prashant, may I request you to please remain on stage while I invite our dignitaries to please join us on stage. Mr. Kamlesh Patel, Global Guide, Heartfulness Institute. Joining him, may I invite Mr. Phil Fresh, CEO, Chief Analyst, HFS Research. Mr. J. A. Chaudhary, Founder, ISF Chairman of the Indian Blockchain Standards Committee. May I also request Ms. Kavita C., Director, STPI Hyderabad, to join us on stage for the lamp lighting. And may I invite the past presidents, Mr. Bharani Kumar Arol and Mr. Nari, to please join us on stage for the lamp lighting. Can we please get the candle for the lamp lighting? May I also request Bhavani Shri IAS to join us on stage for the lamp lighting? Can we please have you on stage? Thank you for being with us here today. And may I request all of you to please now take your seats while Mr. Prashant and Mr. Kamlesh Patel to please remain on stage, because now we are moving on to our first session of the day. And may I request Mr. Nandela to welcome our dearest Daaji with a bouquet. So we are now heading on to our first session of the day, which is a fireside chat on adapting to technological changes through heartful practices. This conversation will be happening with our dearest Daaji, Mr. Kamlesh Patel, Global Guide, Heartfulness Institute. Affectionately known as Daaji, he is the global leader of the Heartfulness Way, which is practiced by over 1 million meditators worldwide. He has been a successful entrepreneur who now devotes his time to the research in the field of consciousness and spirituality. He's a prolific speaker, writer, and a successful author. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a huge round of applause and welcome our dearest Daaji. May I now invite Ms. Pragya. She is Public Policy and Partnership Lead with OpenAI India, and she was also the first hire for OpenAI as well as WhatsApp. So Pragya will be in conversation with Mr. Kamlesh Patel. But before we head on to the chat, can we please play the video?
Kamlesh Patel, affectionately known as Daaji, Heartfulness Guide, is leading a worldwide movement to make free meditation training available to all. With the help of 16,000 volunteer trainers and over 10 million practitioners in 160 countries, Daaji has transformed many lives. In his books and talks, he shares deep insights into successfully integrating one's spiritual and material life. Daaji is also guiding volunteers to conduct research and innovation in the fields of ecology, agriculture, medicine, education, well-being, and the arts. Among the many initiatives he has pioneered are the creation of a model community and one of the world's largest meditation spaces at Kanha Shanti Vanam near Hyderabad, India. An initiative to plant 30 million native and endemic trees across India by the year 2025. A free app to provide meditation training with a trainer 24/7. Training for grassroots social workers in the best practices in the fields of agriculture, health, wellness, and education. Spreading awareness about yoga and Ayurveda and their health benefits. In recognition of his contribution to society, the Government of India awarded Daaji the Padma Bhushan, one of India's highest civilian honours. Daaji has also been a strong advocate for interfaith harmony and unity, and the coming together of all religions and spiritual traditions. Under his guidance in 2024, Heartfulness and the Ministry of Culture, Government of India, organized the Global Spirituality Mahotsav, bringing together over 500 spiritual leaders and over 100,000 participants from across the globe. It was a landmark event where everyone came together to promote world peace through inner peace. Under Daaji's guidance, Heartfulness is collaborating with the local governments in 36 forestation projects across 8 states in India, covering 10,000 acres of degraded land. Heartfulness volunteers have conducted value-based education workshops and cognitive development training for over 250,000 students worldwide. Daaji's contribution to the welfare of humanity has also been recognized by the Commonwealth.
As Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, I am proud and honored to bestow on you the title of Global Ambassador for Peace Building and Faith in the Commonwealth.
भाई कमलेश जी, जो हम सब पूज्यनीय दाजी के रूप में ही जानते हैं, जो काम मानवता के लिए किया है वो वाकई अद्भुत है।
Ladies and gentlemen, Daaji. Pragya, all over to you.
Thank you so much. You know, the meditation center that you saw is not very far away from here, and if you all haven't already visited, you must. It's an absolute haven on earth, so you must make the effort to go there. Thank you for having me at HYSEA. Thanks, Prashant. Thanks, Karthik, Fani, and Daaji. It's such a privilege to share this stage with you. Before we kick this off, I wanted to do a quick check in the room. So, how many of you have meditated at some point in your lives? Could I see a quick show of hands?
Wow, that's a big number.
Amazing. How many of you have actually heard about heartfulness? Fantastic. So this is a good check-in for us to actually start the conversation off. And Prashant spoke about the world transitioning into the agentic world. He spoke about learning and relearning. And there'll be many sessions through the day which will help you navigate through these complexities. But I think the session here today that we're going to have with Daaji is a great start, because we will talk about the most important and the critical common factor, which is managing ourselves. And how do we really navigate around that? So, Daaji, there's no doubt that AI is something which is the most transformational technology that I think humanity is going to experience in this century. So having said that, what do you and what is your vision for the society in the future?
Well, to me, AI itself is a mind-blowing subject. When you think of it, it scares you at the same time, makes you very happy with the potential it offers to all of us. And I was blown away when I saw one of the titles here, AI and going beyond. So I kept started thinking, what is this going beyond AI? Can anyone explain what is going beyond AI, let alone conceiving the very concept of AI? To me, AI is gathering the data and concluding things to the benefit whatsoever you are looking for. It is all about gathering the info from the external sources. To me, a passionate seeker of spirituality, I dwell on the topic of how to gather the info from within. However successful one may be in gathering the data and concluding the data, making use of those data in this material world, it sounds so beautiful, but it's a one-sided growth. Just as our elders, our sages and saints made mistakes at once upon a time, they went all the way into spirituality, and what was contributed to society was very minimal. Today, we are drenched with the material progress, nothing wrong with it, but we are forgetting it at a very dangerous rate, the spiritual component of our existence. Life is one thing, existence is another thing. We are successful in this life. What about the existence? We need to integrate both spirituality and gather that info from within and tap into that ultimate wisdom. And that's why I end up promoting Dhyan. See, many of you, if I ask, what do you understand by dhyana? Then you'll easily translate into, say, it's meditation. But that's also a wrong definition. It's loosely translated. Many of our Sanskrit words are not conveyed properly in English and cannot be also with one word. So I don't know how interesting you'll find if I split the definition, try and understand what dhyana is all about. Dhyana to me, this knowledge descended to me once, not too long ago, even though I have been a practitioner of meditation for almost 50 years. But it recently dawned on me that dhyana can be splitted into two words, di and yan. Di, as per Gayatri Mantra, di mahi diyo yo naha prachodayat. Di means ultimate wisdom or the divine wisdom. Yan means a vehicle. vehicle that transports us into that divine wisdom, ultimate wisdom. We tap into that wisdom, ultimate knowledge. That is dhyan. Most of us, one way or the other, meditate, but you tap into something based on the subject on which you are meditating. If you're meditating on how to tap into AI, you will expand your knowledge in that direction. If a rich man keeps meditating, means keeps thinking about making money, he will continue making money. One who is in love with someone either will be successful in that field or may not be successful. But in another sense, meditation also means repeated thinking on one subject. God, upon whom you think that you are meditating, how can you meditate? He is an unknown entity. How can you meditate on an unknown entity? It sounds paradoxical. If you had known God, there was no need to meditate. So all that we do is imagine, and because of this imagination, which is infinite, we end up with wrong results. Give you a small example again. What is antaryamin? Most of you are Telugu speaking, I suppose. Antaryamin, you all very well know the meaning of it. One who dwells within. It's another name for God. Second argument, Lord Krishna says, I dwell in every heart of every living being. That means He's within us. My soul, my life force, ever since my birth, is within me. I need to tap into that source. Most of us are seeking darshan of the Lord outside. You feel satisfied for doing such an act, but it's an investment in a wrong portfolio. You will never find, you will never be at peace, you will never even attain samadhi by going outward. Somewhere along the line, Sanatana Dharma has deviated from its main course, misguiding individuals, made the whole thing external. To the extent that our marriages, our rituals are being performed by somebody else. You are recruiting someone to offer your puja on your behalf. It's like sending your newly married wife with your best friend for honeymoon. Will that work? So, where are we heading towards? Letting the most vital things being done by somebody else, externalizing this thing that is already dwelling within myself. The direction is wrong. And if you read Gita very carefully, upon whom we all swear Gita is everything, but you don't understand Gita. You know, when Lord Krishna showed the Vishwarup Darshan to Arjun, he was scared. Please come back to the friendlier form. Then he asks a fundamental question that what about the future generation? How will they understand you? How will they perceive you? Krishna says, Hridayame Pashyasi. Look myself in your heart. Where are we looking?
Outside. So Daaji, as always, you have a very sort of power-packed answer. So I'm going to take one thread from that, which is what you spoke about outsourcing. And so, as you think about AI, we are going to have now agents acting on our behalf. And the hope is, with those agents acting on our behalf, we're going to be able to unlock a lot of efficiencies in our lives. We're going to have higher productivity. hoping that we will have much more time in our lives, in our day, because what we usually take 8 or 10 hours to do, we're hoping we can finish that in 4 to 6 hours today, and we're already seeing those efficiencies coming in. My question to you really is that, looking at the human civilization track record, when we get more time, we're going to end up using that to actually make more money, build more businesses, instead of what you were talking about, which is really spending that time in investing in the right portfolio, which is the inner self that we need to build. And I know heartfulness is a big tool in helping us do that. Could you guide us on what can we do today so that we can prepare ourselves and not fall in that trap of again building that materialistic world, but actually turning more inwards?
It's a very long question. In the beginning, I thought meditation is very easy, and it is really, really easier than one might think. I started practicing it 20 minutes a day in the morning, 20 minutes in the evening. But time came when I could be doing things, working, studying, even during sleep. One can remain connected with that meditative state. It's very easy also. We can make all our activities productive by becoming more and more meditative. For example, when I perform my meditation for 20 minutes, and the state that I arrive at after that meditation, I would hold on to it. Being a pharmacist, I would go to my work in New York City. While driving also, I will make sure that the inner state that I have remains with me. That calm, peaceful state that you are so drawn and absorbed in, I would hold on to it. And then when I continue with our work, I will hold on to that also. So all our activities, however mundane, becomes a kind of divine, spiritual in nature. So it becomes our habit. I give you a small example. When we were training our children how to bicycle, what did we do first? We got a tricycle. We held their hands and we pushed them around. And the time came when they started biking on two wheels. They began going to schools on their bike, leaving their hands aside, singing songs, watching traffic, multitasking. Paddles are going on. He's not even aware of that he's paddling. But it becomes your secondary nature, it becomes your subconscious act. So, like that, we can hold on to that spiritual state like paddling and continue doing your work. If a small boy can master a bicycle while remembering how to pedal, I'm sure we can train our mind and heart so that we can hold on to that spiritual state, magnify it if possible during day-to-day activities, and see how rapidly it changes us. Prasant was mentioning there used to be centuries between milestone discoveries. Now, after decades, and now almost every month or every year you hear a new thing coming up. It's a beautiful thing. Spirituality, it's even more adventurous. Every moment is a moment of transformation and change. And you feel so excited about it that, yes, what next? What next? And since the path is infinite, you will not get bored. Oh, this is the status quo, now no more. That no more moment will never come in spirituality. It is always something new. So I encourage you all to at least try it for a few months and see where it takes you. You don't have to leave your home, neither you have to leave your business. You have to fly with both the wings. Integrate it.
So, Daji, from the very profound to a little mundane, do you still get stressed?
I think stress is necessary.
Yeah.
When I have to address such an audience, it stresses me sometimes that how to convince something that I enjoy, something that makes me so spiritually rich, and share that wealth, which is invisible. How to convince it becomes my biggest challenge. And when I don't see people being convinced, I get disheartened so much. What a poor fellow. You feel compassion, my God. Please help them understand what spirituality is. That is stressing me.
So you stress about the really big things in life. Often, we're stressing about the immediate promotion, the next raise, am I going to fundraise, all of those things. And so, we're mostly reacting a lot to our external environments. And, meditation can be that tool to deal with that stress. I know that the three practices that are part of heartfulness often help us do that. But if you could just share, from your life when you were an entrepreneur and you would feel really stressed about, maybe opening that next store or what is going to happen in the cash flow, how did you really deal with that in those moments?
While I was in business world, which I ran for almost 30 years in New York City, I was never stressed, never ever. But I was always concerned with these inner changes. Because money comes and money goes. I didn't care much about it, though I had plenty of it, nothing to cry about. I could not tolerate the emptiness. We all wonder about why this life, what is to be done, purpose of life. There must be a goal beyond this life and death. That has captivated me, and that's what I like to plunge into, and that's what excites me. And to me, spirituality is something beyond the religion, you see. Religious approaches are very convenient that you go to a temple, you bow down, you throw some money, you give some gifts to pandits as if it has reached Vaikuntham. You feel happy about it. You go back to your office and you continue doing whatsoever you are doing. Have you felt any deeper change in yourself? Same technology in your heart. No change. Where is the growth at an individual level with such worship? Spirituality is challenging. Spirituality cannot tolerate a mere belief. We all believe in God, but what next? If you ask your mother or father, Papa, Mummy, do you believe in God? They will say, why are you asking such a question? That is religion. Mummy would say, Ma, Bete, I believe because my parents taught me this, my religion teaches, my elders taught me all this, our scriptures say that, but what about you? Have you experienced? So when you experience, belief dies. Belief to me is a whitewash, substitute to an actual experience. Once you have experienced, the story temporarily ends, but not completely. If you are invited to your friend's place on a private island, and then you spend 3 months, 4 months, 6 months with your friend for, enjoying the hospitality. You are experiencing a great hospitality of a friend. But deep down, what do you say? What do you feel then? I wish I was also as rich. So divine experiences through spirituality, through meditation can be great. But to become divine is different from experiencing. So you see, we have understood so far one thing, that we begin with the belief, graduate into experience if you are lucky. If you are still luckier, you will say goodbye to spirituality also and begin to become divine. And a time will also come, you renounce that divinity as well, and you enter a zone which is beyond description. And that's what Vedas also call through a great statement. You know, Veda talks all positive things in the beginning, but it concludes with the most negative statement. Neti, 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 meaning not this, not this, not this. Meaning the experience of the thing that I'm having now cannot be described through any worldly means or worldly example, that it is like this or it is like that. There is nothing in this world that is as comparable. That's why neti, neti, neti. See?
Daji, you spoke about purpose, and many people here in the room are leading businesses or are already leaders in their own right. How do we find that purpose, and how do we really lead with that purpose so that we can also take our teams along with that larger purpose, whether that's it's my own purpose or it's my company's purpose? How do I add more something much bigger than earning revenues or building profitable businesses, something that's also societal?
There are certain things which cannot be taught. Either you are crazy for spirituality or not. That has to come naturally within us. What we call calling. If the calling happens, you'll be drawn towards it very naturally. See, instead of bombarding these questions and answers, if you all agree, we can meditate for a few minutes, and we have time.
Yes, I think we do. Yeah, absolutely.
So you have a glimpse into meditation, which we train people with. See? And you don't have to believe in any gurus. You don't have to call Daaji or master. Let Daaji remain your friend, and we meditate. You don't have to fall at anyone's feet and collect dust. Meditate in the privacy of your own homes. We have an app also called Heartfulness Meditation app. You can download and learn from that at your own pace. So if you all agree now, we meditate for a few minutes, and when it's over, I'll say that's all. And before I forget, after meditation, you are all invited to Kanha, Vanam, which is hardly 45 minutes from here, very close to Samsabad, almost 30 minutes from the airport. Thank you. So we'll now begin meditation. Okay.
Can I just request everyone to please put your phone on silent? That will just help you focus on what Daji is going to bestow on us. So just be open, open your hearts, and just observe how you feel inside as we go through this process. So all you need to do is just close your eyes. And of course, the tendency of the mind is to have a lot of thoughts. You will get a lot of thoughts, but as you get them, just remind yourself that you're in meditation and anchor yourself in the suggestion that there is divine light in your heart. That is all you need to do. And it's going to be a joyride for the next 10 minutes. You guys are going to feel incredibly refreshed after this. So just be open hearted, have an open attitude, and just be ready to receive. And when Daji says that's all, you can open your eyes. Please start meditation. That's all. We can open the floor for questions if people have any specific questions on the experience they had. Yeah. Do we have mics on the floor?
Pranams, Daji, on behalf of HYSEA. So some of us have been to the Kanha Shantivan. I think it's a jewel in the crown of Hyderabad and India. Thanks for setting that up here. This experience has been tremendous. I just wanted to set a context, AI and beyond the future. That's what you spoke. The app that you've created, which I use, in my opinion, is a co-pilot for meditation. I just thought I'll be the opening comment. That's all I had. Thank you very much for creating that.
Thank you.
Thank you. That should be our tagline. Anyone else? If not, I had a short announcement. We're actually doing a Heartfulness Startup Forum retreat on the 28th of February to the 2nd of March. It's the 28th of February is an open day, so everyone is invited to come listen to entrepreneurs from all over India who are going to come and talk about not to how to fundraise and not how to grow your business, but really taking that path from being a founder to a leader. So if you feel you would want to join in, the team will pop up a QR code and please do register and come. And then the residential program is for the 3 days where we will go much deeper into the tools of heartfulness meditation that can help you tackle through a lot of these uncertainties that we're going to be facing in the next 10 years or 10 to 15 years. So if you feel like you're at that right place, this is the right forum for you. Can I then request Prashant to come on stage to release the book, Daaji's most recent book? I will invite you, please, to come over.
Of the stage and the hall, and I'm sure it's going to reflect in the events of the day. It's going to be a memorable day for all of us. Thank you so much for the meditation session. And for the book launch, may I request a few other dignitaries to please join us on stage. May I invite Mr. BVR Mohan Reddy, founder, chairman, Silent. Joining him, may I please invite Mr. J.A. Chaudhary, founder, ISF, chairman of the Indian Blockchain Standards Committee, to please join us on stage. I would also request Ms. Kavita C., director, STPI Hyderabad, to please come on stage. And Mr. Raghavan from US Consulate, can we please have you join us on stage? And our past president, HYSEA, Mr. Bharani Kumar Errol, sir, can we please have you on stage for the presentation of the book? This is a newly launched book authored by Daaji, and the title is Paradox. The book is an exploration of 22 everyday paradoxes combined with spiritual and scientific inquiry. Helmed with the heartfulness way of living, these practices will help one clear the mind and unburden emotions of the heart. Presenting the book, Paradox. Can we please give a huge round of applause? And many congratulations, Daaji, for the launch of this new book. Thank you so much. May I request all the dignitaries to please take their seats. We have a bookstall outside, and those of you who would like to purchase this book can please go and check out the stall, and you can purchase the book from there. Thank you so much. We now move on to our next session, which is Analyst Keynote Address on AI and Beyond Redefining the Future. Our speaker is Mr. Phil Fresh, CEO and Chief Analyst, HFS Research, which he also founded. HFS Research is the leading global research and advisory firm helping Fortune 500 companies through IT and business transformation.